Fresh off the bye week, the Dallas Cowboys in a new look defense get the job done in Las Vegas, 33-16. The final score as they improve to 4-5-1 on the 2025 season, and they are 1-0 all-time in the regular season in Sin City, Las Vegas. Welcome into the First Word presented by Dr. Pepper here from the Star in Frisco and the Globe Life Studios alongside Nicole Hutchison with Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans, and it's a much different feel post-game this time around than it has been the last few games for the Cowboys. They end a two-game losing streak in a big way. The defense looks phenomenal. Isaiah, I'm going to start with you on the end of the table. What stood out the most in the way that the Cowboys got the job done today?
The line of scrimmage. The line of scrimmage was initiated by the defense. They were assaulting the offensive line of the Las Vegas Raiders. It was very evident the impact that Quinnen Williams had on this entire defense. It's something that we talked about after his signing, but we saw the impact of it today. He was balling out, 1.5 sacks, multiple 5 quarterback hits, I think 1 TFL. Kenny Clark was a benefactor of that, and everybody else that was surrounding him was a benefactor. The linebackers didn't have offensive linemen working up to them and trying to block them, so they were running and hitting. And then secondary had to cover for less time. This is an impact that was felt throughout the entire defense, and it was awesome to see.
You'll go, young
Yeah,
man.
sorry. I thought the overall defensive play was probably the best of the best this season, just because you're getting that pressure up front within the interior, right? Guys like Quinnen Williams, which, Isaiah just touched on, made a huge impact on the rest of this defense. Kalen Carson out there winning his one-on-one matchups. Of course, Deron Bland having a comeback game, not last week against Arizona Cardinals, having, a little bit of struggles there. But this defense overall, I feel like they're finally figuring out this scheme. The personnel's there. I think defensively is probably the best matchup.
I think they took advantage of an offense that is hurting. The quarterback is not in place. The offensive line is not great. But what I was looking for out of everything was how was our secondary going to look. They looked like they was understanding what they was asked to do, the areas they was asked to be in. You didn't see a lot of explosive plays. Like I say, now the receivers may not be household names, but you'd like to see that our secondary was in the right place at the right times, making plays tonight. We even got an interception tonight by one of the young players. So that is a great thing for me just to see our secondary line up and be in the proper areas.
Of course, the conversation in a win like this is going to center around the defense because of the new additions, Logan Wilson, Quinnen Williams and company, the welcome party back for guys like DeMarvion Overshown, Savone Rebel and company. But my goodness, the numbers that stick out to me here, there's two that really stick out. 3 for 12 on third down for the Las Vegas Raiders. 3 for 12. This is Dallas. The Dallas defense we're talking about has done a better job of slowing down the Raiders than any other team that they've slowed down this year. They also only mustered 27 rushing yards. That's incredible of a turnaround from 1 week to the next, the way that this defense was able to take a completely new look and apply it the way that they did here in Week 11. Now, Isaiah, I know it's not the end of the road. It's the Las Vegas Raiders who are now 2-6. You got to take it all with a grain of salt, but what you saw today was exactly what you wanted to see.
Yeah, for sure. And now all of a sudden you have a lot of depth, right? The impact of those guys, Osa Odighizuwa, Kenny Clark, and Quinnen Williams, those guys were able to rotate through along with other guys, right, that are at the defensive end positions. And then you saw your linebackers. You saw 6 different linebackers today. Matter of fact, you saw a 4-3 defense for the first time all season long. Typically, it's been a 4-2-5 defense, occasionally a 5-1 as of a couple weeks ago. But tonight you saw a 4-3. So you saw now the Raiders are playing a base offense in terms of 2 or 3 tight end set, so that affects your defensive call. But you saw multiple personnel groupings out there defensively today, and you saw a lot of contributors.
You know what also stood out? The number that stood out to me, Kyle, is 13 pressures in the first half. That's the highest of any first half this entire football season. So if this Cowboys defensive line can keep getting pressure the way that they're doing, I think it's going to be hard to stop. But when you talk about the communication, Barry Church made a good point on the pregame show. You're getting a guy like Logan Wilson who's so good at the communication, making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be. Hey, I love the difference out there.
You know, just quickly, 33 minutes, we control the football on offense, and that helps our defense stay fresh and be the players that we know and hope that they are jailed to be. So I was excited about the 33 plus minutes that our offense held the ball.
And also the impact of the defense, right? We talked about Nate and I talked about a lot in terms of having an interior presence, right? Dominant interior presence. You discouraged the Raiders from running the ball. Ashton Jeanty, one of the best running backs in the league, regardless of his productivity this year, only has 6 attempts. You discouraged the Raiders from running the ball, which means you made them one-sided in terms of their approach. You can play, your defense and your secondary can play good defense whenever you negate their ability to be able to do both things. That's what we're talking about. Limit their ability to do one thing, discourage them, and now we can just pin our ears back and go get the quarterback.
This was step one. Check the box, step one, with the trade acquisitions coming out of the bye week, playing for Marshawn Nealon. All of those things were on display in an emotional day in Las Vegas. Step two will be this week against the reigning Super Bowl champions at home at AT&T Stadium in Week 12 against the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll talk more about that matchup on Cowboys Game Night coming up in just a matter of moments. This is the Final Stats presented by Dr. Pepper. We talked about some of these numbers already. Just 27 rushing yards allowed, a 3 for 12 mark on third down in the Dallas defense. With all the new pieces added to the fold, looked like an entirely new unit underneath Matt Eberflus as the defensive coordinator. That does it for the First Word presented by Dr. Pepper. Again, the Cowboys win it 33-16 over Las Vegas. For Nicole, Nate, and Isaiah, I'm Kyle Yeomans. We'll see you next week.